One of the questions that I've asked myself often, especially the last few years, why are there more women in porn than women involved in the so-called truth movement? I'm going to be discussing this over the course of the next few minutes. For those that feel offended by the statements, best way to challenge me is to start a video series, maybe on YouTube, maybe on another website, maybe start a blog if you're a writer, counter the very things that I am saying. But it's not by accident that 95% of my viewers are men. It's not by accident that the vast majority of the women that have had a sexual interest in me in the past had very little true interest in the things that I actually do. It was merely a physical thing. There's more than a few reasons why I don't chase the women of today's day and age, but the number one reason is I want to be sexually attracted to a woman who I am attracted to intellectually and spiritually, even emotionally, a woman that is strong. To me, a strong woman in today's day and age is a woman that's also involved in speaking the truth from a non-partisan perspective, and there aren't enough. However, when it comes to the sexualization of the female, extreme forms of pornographic acts, and they're doing these things for a lot less money than, say, they would 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when there was less of a surplus of all this online pornography and sex acts. Sometimes sex with animals, sometimes sex with multiple men. So my question is, am I ever going to see on this planet more women involved in the truth movement that are willing to take on multiple men, and not necessarily a sexual sense, but to counter the propaganda? To sit there and go, no, those people are no terrorists just because you say they are. And what are you doing insulting all these women that have husbands or boyfriends that are less than white? Fuck this bullshit. This is the new world order. Now, there are women that I see in this world that aren't yet fully independent. They fall into groupthink. So many of them may either find themselves to be women for Trump, or they may find themselves against Trump, blocking traffic along with others involved in the hive mind, but they aren't real alternative media or independent women. They have joined their own tribe that's based on some of the same rules and judgment and manipulation and fascism. And you're dealing with fascists in their own way if they're stopping someone from going down the road. Now, there's plenty of teenage girls and young girls, and some of them that are beautiful, that are in their 20s and 30s, that are involved in activism. They're not outside the left-right paradigm. And they're not doing their own YouTube channels. They're the part of the mob. They're part of the groupthink. And they are some of the same people that would laugh when they see one of their political enemies knocked out by a punch because that person's labeled a racist. Okay, so for all those women that are supposedly anti-Nazis, where are those that have gone out of their way, either in the streets or on a YouTube channel or a guest on someone's show, to detail and discuss what's really happening in the Middle East? Because you don't have to be a Middle Eastern person to be shocked and horrified by the millions dead. I see men, and I also see multiple times in which I challenge my audience, how many of the women that are actually currently outside the box or Alex Answery viewers, how many of you, and I'll do these check-ins once in a while when I get really upset, and I'm calm at the moment, but the last time I got upset, I kind of basically said that few women have any empathy that are viewers of my channel with regards to the racism towards the Middle Eastern humans. I would say 3 of you. There was someone, I think by the name of Leela, who emailed. There was another, she's in Arizona, and then there's another, a woman that I knew in Portland, and she was basically expressing that she had an understanding of what I was saying. It was just still kind of a shock to her, you know, that some of the stuff was going on. And it's better for you to at least look at it and for it to be a shock to you than to be in like abject denial that it's going on. That's not healthy. But at least look at it, but you don't have to feel guilty for things that don't have to do directly with you. I would just recommend not being in denial and seeing the world as it is. So 3 or 4 women out of this channel, out of a channel that has 11,000 subscribers, nearly. That is a remarkable low number of females that have in any way decided to show me any form of empathy with regards to that. So people have often asked me, like, what do I see with regards to the future? It's a lot of sex trafficking because There aren't enough women that have incarnated into today's generation that believe that they should be a part of presenting information and truth. There is a abnormally high number of them that'll have sex with 100 men straight before in a million years starting their own YouTube channel for money. Now, I also want you to think about the animalism of that, of the woman taking the mounted position, and tell me how independent women really are. How much have they actually done to free themselves of the so-called patriarchal system? If you have a surplus, and there's also women that'll do it for free. It's a kink thing. There are forms of pornography that are not with the big companies, that are, with the other companies where people just, are into voyeurism and things of that nature. Okay. What kind of a planet, what would it take for there to be a type of a planet to where the consensus reality does include truth being sexy and it not being such a fringe thing? I know there's going to be some people out there that disagree with me, and that's fine. It's okay to disagree, but from my experience, if you are not on the left or not on the right, and you're dealing with stuff that's outside the left or the right, a lot of the women that you are dealing with, some of them are into a lot of the fake conspiracy stuff, Planet X, Flat Earth, Trump is good, Trump is against the establishment. I've noticed an aspect of white America, but not all, falls for that because Trump reminds them of the king returning after years of mismanagement, domestically, economically, militarily, malpractice. So Donald Trump is seen as this great white hope, daddy. And so on the other end, you're seeing women that are willing to join other men with masks and block traffic as if they're ready for a fight. But you don't see them with an Afghan or our Iraqi Lives Matter sign at the BLM protests. So even though they're talking about, hey, white people be guilty, it's really more of this groupthink. Those women have not yet opened up their heart to have compassion for dead Afghanis, nor have hardly any, like I said, of the women that I've been involved with. It was always a sexual thing and nothing else. And so like that song, I dream about you, if I can hold you tonight. It's like, have women that have that level of compassion been born yet, that are not currently married, that I may be able to meet?